community.
Yeah, the word queer to me feels like all are welcome.
Yeah.
People call it the alphabet community now. But the letters are important because the letters in the queer alphabet, the LGBTQIA+, you know, it makes people feel welcome, seen, like they fit in. And I really think like the reason why there are so many labels now is people just want to fit in.
Right.
They want to feel like they belong.
Right.
There's no problem with that.
It's just you and I now, baby. Okay. Hi. How are you? Oh my God, I'm so excited you're here right now. Wait, this is
I'm
exciting.
so excited. I can't believe we're finally here.
A year? No. 8 months. No.
Almost.
10 months.
Basically a year.
I just feel like the last year has flown by and I'm so happy you're here.
Back and
I was trying to
forth.
think about it. How did we meet? Did I slide in your DMs?
Did
And I was like,
slide in
hey, let's
yours?
be friends. Like,
I'm like,
you're
did I
really
slide
cool.
in yours?
I feel like that's something I did. I feel like that's something I would have done with. I'm like, you're so cool. I want to be friends. Like,
I feel
no
like
shame.
I definitely reached out to you guys. It might have been a mutual reach out because I've
Maybe.
definitely been following you guys for a minute.
Yeah,
like just inspired through travel and stuff. But yeah, I think it was definitely one of us DMing. Like,
was
hey,
one of them.
and then like we were probably like, you live in LA, I do too.
Yes.
I travel, I'm not home. And then it just was all of that
Ongoing.
until we finally met in person.
And then now we see
remember
each
where we
other
met.
like at random events all the time, and it's like, yeah, this is great. I love it.
Yeah, every time we see each other, we're like, ah.
Yeah. No, when you texted me you were coming today, I legit got butterflies.
It's like you're my long distance bestie, but we live in the same state.
That's what I'm saying. We also just found out that we're both Aries as well, so this is great. Like,
Yeah,
now
this
it
is
all
meant to
makes
be.
sense now. I would love to hear about your background, where you're from, how you
we're
grew
getting
up.
started.
I would love to just tell me all.
I grew up in Long Island, New York, in the suburbs. I've lived in the same house my whole life with my parents, who's still together. And I have 5 siblings.
Okay.
So 4 girls, 1 boy.
Okay. Are you in the middle?
Yeah.
Oldest?
I have 3 older, 2 younger.
Okay. Oh, you are in the middle.
I'm
Wow.
in the middle. So I have like middle child syndrome. I'm the gay sibling. I'm the I didn't go to college sibling.
You're like,
so that tells you a little bit about
child,
me.
But I'm gonna be the spotlight somehow or another. I was gonna make it happen.
That was definitely me. And it's funny because being an Aries, like growing up, like I just wanted all the attention all the time. I'm performing, I'm making up songs and dances. You know, me and my siblings, we have plenty of choreography to plenty of songs.
I love it. I love it.
I grew up in a town that was not very diverse. At all. Not race, not sexuality. Like it was a nice white bubble. That's what we're gonna say.
Okay. Yep.
So there wasn't a lot of exposure. There wasn't a lot of representation. But like home life and everything was amazing. Like super supported.
That's great. What ended up bringing you from the East Coast to the West Coast?
East Coast to the West Coast, that was definitely not planned. Me and my siblings also made a pact because my mom and her siblings, they all live in different states.
Okay.
And growing up, we're all like, we're never going to do that.
Right.
Like, we can't. Like, we all have to live near each other so we can have a family compound. And, like, we've all talked about that.
Right.
And then growing up, life happens, you know, and a few of my older siblings, they moved out of the state. And me being someone who's always just wanted to see all of the world and travel, I knew I wasn't going to stay in one. I wasn't going to stay put for long, but, like, I'm always going to come home. Like, that's kind of how I am, you know? So yeah, moving to LA was not planned. I set out on a solo soul searching journey.
Okay.
I was single and I was like, I had nothing holding me back in New York. And I actually was a nomad for like a year, I would say, maybe 6 months to a year. And I lived in my car. I went and visited all my cousins and different family all over the country.
Okay. Yeah,
and
that's
while
nice.
doing that, I ended up in LA a lot. For booking things, for dance things. I got a lot of opportunities. I was making a lot of friends out there.
Sure. Yeah. And how does your family now feel about you living out here? They're like, you broke the pact.
Right.
Because you're not
but
even.
I didn't break the pact first.
Even bi-coastally.
But I live the farthest. But they're happy because it's like, it's a cheaper flight.
Sure.
It's shorter.
Yeah.
It's easier to get to. So even like, I've already had so many visitors in Miami and I've only lived there for like a month.
Okay.
So I've had
So
like
do
my
they come
sibling,
visit
my
you?
nephew came. Yeah. So it was great.
That's good. And they come visit you often then?
Well, I'm only there for a month now. So, like, a few people have visited. Like, my
Okay.
brother came into town for a little bit. He loves golf. So, there's hella golf in Florida. So, he literally came over for, like, a long weekend, and he golfed every day.
That's
but,
so
like, I got to see
cute.
him. We hung out, you know?
No,
It was
I love
cool.
that. I love that. Yeah, my 2 sisters are my closest family members.
Okay,
I
you
don't-
have 2.
I have 2. Well, I have 4 half sisters, but I grew up with 2 of them. So, and those are the ones where I'm like, those are my sisters. Like, those are my ride or die. And so I've spent most of my life with my sisters. Like, my family, I'm not very very family oriented, but my sisters are like my go-to.
I love that.
And so I feel like I love that you're so close with your siblings and your whole family in general. That's amazing. It's also creating, I feel like for you, and what we'll talk about later too, is community. And I feel like you are very good about bringing this sense of family to your friendships. And I feel like that is something that I'm assuming you get from your family. That's something that you were like, I'm going to create a family everywhere I go, which is really beautiful about that.
I love that you like point that out too, because literally something my friend and I were just talking about. We're both from New York, and we were raised in very similar environments, you know, and I'm not totally similar, but just like we have very different upbringings, but the family and like the respect, the loyalty, the love, like that's all, those were all like really big like morals we were like brought up on. If you're my friend and I don't feel like I could take you home to like meet my siblings and hang out with my mom, like we're not that close. Yeah. Like that's just like all my friends to me is like it's family. That's it.
No,
that's what's
absolutely.
important to me.
I love that. I love that. And how about your coming out journey? What was that like for you? When did you come out? What was your experience? And then also, how does your family react?
That's a loaded question.
Loaded. You got an hour?
Loaded question. A whole separate episode.
Right.
No, but my coming out journey was definitely a roller coaster. I feel like everything in life is like a roller coaster. You know, there's pros and cons. There's up and down. I will say, like, I was definitely supported, and I wish my younger self felt that. Because as I grow up and I, like, see how things, you know, have unfolded, I remember, like, the first day I came out as a lesbian, and I was like, Mom, I want to shave my head, da-da-da-da. And, like, I want to do this, I want to wear this, like, because I thought I had to. Yeah. You know, and, like, just being, like, younger and immature, like, I wasn't aware of life and everything. Like I didn't know I could look like this and still have that sexuality, you know, because we didn't have representation. Yeah. Like growing up, and I came out when I was 14. That's over 10 years ago. Wow. A lot has happened. Yeah. When I did discover it, and I discovered it through like a best friend. It was like a best friend, and we were getting really close, and we were like, you feel like more than a friend. Right. You know?
Why do I get these feelings
and
inside?
about a girl. Yeah, this is weird. And then, you know, it's like I learned, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gay. So it was like one of those moments, and like I had to open up to her and be like, I have these feelings, like, and like her response was so beautiful, because it was like, okay, I don't feel the same about you, but like I love and support you so much. Like if you need anything, let me know. Like you're still you. Like da da da. And like with my family, just like what I was saying about shaving my head, is like I had that whole day, and like my mom and I, like we got in a fight. I got in a fight with my dad, and like it was a big blow up. I ran away from home. I didn't go home for 2 weeks because of how I took it. And I think because of my own fears, like I just felt like they were mad at me and didn't accept me and didn't love me, because like I'm the first gay kid. They don't know, you know. When I came out to my mom, the first thing she said to me is, she's like, I've never had a gay kid before. Yeah. Nobody's ever come out to me. Like, I don't know what to say. So I'm going to go have a glass of wine. Yeah. And we'll talk about it another day.
Well, I think about it when you just said that, it made me think, because in a way, I mean, I don't have a relationship with my parents, and that's a whole other episode. But in a way, I didn't have representation growing up, right? And that was very difficult for me to navigate when I came out. But I'm trying to think about it from their perspective as parents, that they also don't have representation of what being like, queer is or what community is by being queer. And therefore, in a way, giving them grace to be like, okay, are you going to learn? Unfortunately, my parents didn't want to learn, but it sounds like your mom came around.
She wanted to learn.
Parents,
you know, she was curious, and like so grateful for that.
That's amazing.
I'm so grateful for that, and I really wish that upon everyone. You know, I wish you had that experience, you know, and I'm sorry you didn't, because it is hard and confusing, and it's just like, you're navigating something that you don't know with people who also don't know it. Yeah. So it's not like you're talking to like a queer advocate and you're like, what do I do? Right. What's my real label? Like, what should I wear? Right. You know, like after I came out to my friend, my other homie I was like, I feel like not myself. I want to be more myself. And she's like, okay, like she dressed more tomboy. And I was like, and I was always a tomboy, but like getting into high school, I started dressing how I thought I had to. Yeah. So I was still like, you know, wearing like skinny jeans and like infinity scarves, like trying to fit in. No. And she's like, what do you want to wear? And I was like, I miss wearing what I used to wear, like just sweats and like, I don't know, maybe a hat. Like, you know, it felt more aligned. And she told me, she's like, yeah, I mean, why don't you go on Instagram? And this is when Instagram was like old Instagram. Wow. And I looked up #lesbian. Yeah. And when there's no representation, the only thing I saw was like a lot of butch women or like masculine women with short hair. Okay. That was all I saw. Right. So I thought, to be a lesbian, I have to look like this. Right. That's what I understood. Right. So when talking to my mom and I'm like, I want to shave my head, da da da, she she's wise. She's a mom. She knows. So she knows like what I'm going through.
Sure.
And obviously reacting, not really sure. She's just like, at this point, like, why don't you go tattoo gay on your forehead? Yeah. And I remember she said that to me. And I was like, what does that even mean? Right. And now that I'm older. Like, is
this a good idea?
Now that I'm older, it's like one of those things that you like finally understand when you grow up.
Right.
And I was like, oh, she just meant like, I don't have to dress a certain way or do something or be like, or like, you know, I don't have to look a certain way to be who I am.
No, absolutely.
You know, and so she's like, you could still love the same sex without changing your outfit, you know?
Right.
And for me, it ended up being a comfort thing, you know?
Right.
And like, I did want to cut my hair, but I am so grateful that my mom did not let me. Because then I like took my time and I like chopped it off slowly. And now I'm like.
See, alternatively, when I look back on my journey, because I was always a tomboy. Like I always played sports with like the rugby. I played football. I played with the boys. Like I was always
with the boys.
Always with the boys. I never wanted to do. You will never catch me dead with a Barbie in my hand. It's just never happened unless it was like G.I. Joe all the way.
Or like the boy Barbies.
Yeah, and it's interesting because at one point in time, and I think around the same age, 14, I cut all my hair off. Like I had. Yeah, it was super short all the way around. I saw my opposite. Yeah, and right now it's long. But I remember it's interesting now because I look back and I'm like, okay, what does gender expression mean to me? And I was like, oh, I never had a gender dysphoria. I never had that, but I always wanted to be more presented as one of the boys. I wanted to be like, I just hanging out with the boys. I wanted to be more masculine energy, right? But that didn't necessarily mean like a gender dysphoria. As I grew older, now I'm realizing I was a tomboy. I liked masculinity, but I liked still being in femininity as well, like playing with that balance. And it's similar to what you're saying, right? I guess finding what feels the most comfortable to you, which looks different for every single person, right? And I feel like being a tomboy at such a younger age, it was hard probably to find clothes that fit or to do the things that society tells you to do. Because for me, they were like, you're supposed to be wearing makeup and like impressing the boys. I was like, but what if I don't want to do that? You know what I mean? Like, was there ever a pressure for you society-wise to, you know, do the things for the boys? Like, you need to do that. But you came out at such a young age, too. So I'm curious.
I think there was definitely a mix. Like, I definitely, part of me feel like there was part of me that was similar to that, you know, like with the masculinity and wanting to be one of the boys. Like, my best friend was a guy, you know, and he was a skateboarder. He played guitar and he played. So every time they were outside on the scooters, I was there too. I was like, I could do this. I could do a kickflip. Yeah. You know, and like just wanting to be one of the guys. Elementary school, I'll never forget. The tomboy question. When I think like tomboy and like people are like, were you a tomboy growing up? Like this is what I think about.
Right.
In fourth grade, all through elementary school, I wore these sweatpants, and they were like the swishy ones.
Yep.
So swish, swish, swish when you walk. I call them like swishies. I had like red, blue, green, and black.
Okay.
A pair of each, so I had 4 pairs, and they had 2 stripes down the side. So they weren't Adidas because they didn't have 3. I don't know what they were, but they were just these pants. Swishies.
I'm never gonna think of those.
Bro, never. And I remember like I was growing out of them. Like I'm growing, and I was growing out of them, and I remember like. My mom's like, I'm not buying you more of those. I wore those with a t-shirt and my hair in a ponytail every single day.
Right.
Every single day with probably some DCs or like who knows what kind of shoes. Right. And I remember I had a really emotional time with my mom. And this is elementary school, so this is way before I know what even a lesbian is. We had a funeral for my pants. She's like, there were holes in them. Like, she's like, we got to get rid of your pants. Like, it was almost like comfort. Yeah. And like, I'm honestly realizing it now that I had a comfort thing with those pants, you know, probably because like they cured whatever maybe gender dysmorphia I had or maybe like whatever masculinity I was trying to like fulfill myself with. Right. And I had those. I remember we had a funeral for them. And like after that, like I started like dressing more like a girl. Like I remember it was a conversation in the house. Like, hey, like, you know, you don't have to wear this all the time. Other than like, I was always an athlete. So like it was normal to be in sweats. Same. You know, that was cool. That was fine. But every second of every day, it was kind of just like questioned, like, okay. So I definitely like going into middle school, I was like, okay, like started wearing V-neck shirts. And to this day, you will never see me in a V-neck shirt because that is like, I feel like the biggest trauma I've ever had is just wearing a V-neck. Like, I don't know what about my chest or why I don't like a V-neck, but a crew neck all the way. And I just remember like I would try to wear V-necks. I would skinny jeans, the little cardigans, you know, like I would try to make all these little fits. And I had 3 older sisters. Right. So it's also like I had hand-me-downs and like I would get inspired from them or like figure out what I needed to do through them. Yeah. And you know, because sexuality wasn't a question yet, I was just like, I just dressed how I thought I had to. Yeah. You know, I was always trying to fit in. Absolutely. And then when I did finally like come out and discover more of my sexuality, that's when more of like my identity with like being masculine and just expressing myself came in. Because then there was hats. Okay. And then the snapback turned into the pants.
Okay.
I wore a snapback in the shower. I wore a snapback to bed. I had the snapback. It was like
always backwards, right?
It was like this, but it was like kind of above my eyebrow.
Okay.
I don't know why I did that. It was like to the side. And my hair was back here in a bun.
Okay.
Hidden and gone.
Wow.
And if you look at any old pictures of me, they're all, I'm the same thing.
Same thing every time.
And that was like, it made me feel so like just comfortable. Like that was how I expressed. That's how I felt comfortable. I don't know why, but that's what it was. And it was like that little bit of masculine expression.
It's you know, stepping into that masculinity, right?
Yeah.
But like in the baby steps that it was, right? Which that's so true. And I feel like I was the same. I wore snapbacks all the time. I loved a snapback.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll wear makeup and a snapback if that's what, can I find a middle
Whatever
ground?
it had to be.
I'll do whatever y'all want, but let me wear my snapback. That's crazy. That's true.
And like back to the societal things, like I remember it was always a conversation with my mom, like, you know, like, okay, well, since you dress like this, like, it wasn't all the time and it wasn't ever in a bad way. It was more just her, like, being curious. And she'd be like, okay, so, like, you're not going to wear a dress? Like, are you going to wear a dress to your wedding at least?
Yeah.
Like, that was always kind of like, at least, like maybe for me. And then, like, you know, and then prom came.
Yeah, okay.
Prom was a thing. And I went to a few proms. So luckily, I did have, like, a girlfriend at the time, and I went to a prom in Philly where I wore a suit.
Okay.
And I wore a suit because I went to her prom, so I'm like, I can wear whatever I want. This is my prom. My mom can't say anything. So I wore a suit. And, like, so I think I fulfilled that for myself. So to my own high school prom for my mom, I was like, I know I can be a bad bitch.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to wear a dress. And I did.
And a snapback. No, I'm joking.
And a snapback. That'd be crazy. But I wore, like, you know what actually helped me make it feel more masculine is that it was a two-piece dress.
Interesting. Okay.
So having my abs out made me feel.
Isn't that fascinating
like,
around what masculinity, like where we get that from? Because I've always like, there's certain things about masculinity that I'm really drawn to, like biceps for some reason.
Biceps,
or
hands.
snapback. Yeah, hands. And then I don't know what it is about that particular thing that makes me feel more expressive in my masculinity doing those small things. But you know, it's interesting how we all kind of tie into that.
Yeah.
And you're,
So
you know,
funny.
I know you with labels are all over the place, right? In general, for all of us in our community, you know, the labels are, it's hard to always fit into a box and not fit in a box.
Yeah.
What does queer mean to you? Like, what is, I know it's a ever evolving term and it's different for everyone, I feel like, in a way. So I would love to learn about what that means to you.
Wow, that's a good one.
It's another loaded question.
Right. I feel like queer is such like, and it is, you know, because like when you ask, some people identify with the word queer instead of lesbian, bisexual, pansexual, whatever it is, you know, like they identify with queer because it is more broad. And I love that about the word queer because I feel like, and I don't want to say nowadays, but things are always changing, you know? And I really feel like people call it the alphabet community now because there are so many letters.
Right.
But the letters are important because the letters in the queer alphabet, the LGBTQIA+, you know, it makes people feel welcome, seen, like they fit in. And I really think like the reason why there are so many labels now is people just want to fit in. Right. They want to feel like they belong. Right. And there's no problem with that. And that's why I love queer because it like, I feel like it's just like, it's the whole community. It's anybody, you know, who's even, it could be someone who's never explored same sex or anything like that or anything with their identity, like, but they want to. Yeah. You know, so they're curious, queer, whatever it is, you know.
No,
but
I agree.
The word,
me, it's almost like an umbrella in a way where
it's an umbrella term.
It's a get under my wings, you know,
it's
and
almost
we're
like,
all part of this community.
Yeah, the word queer to me feels like all are welcome.
Yeah. I feel like the word queer is, like you said, there's a fluidity to it. To me, like the longer I've been a part of the LGBTQI plus community, I fall in love with people, right? Most
so
likely it's never going to
that.
be a man. Like it's just not going to happen. I can appreciate a man from a distance. Right. They look nice, I guess, but like emotionally and mentally, it will never happen. It doesn't work.
I could definitely agree
with
with you
you
on
other
that.
people in the LGBTQI plus community across the board, gender expression, sexual orientation, whatever that might be, that I feel like, I could absolutely fall in love with that person.
Yeah. I really appreciate you sharing that like perspective on it because I definitely agree. And I've seen a lot of like the things about, I saw like it recently about bi studs, like studs who are bi. And like people were like weirded out by it because it's like a stud who's like fully like masculine and embracing that. And like people find out that they're bisexual and like they think that that's wrong. And like that blows my mind and I hate that because I think everyone is so like, back to experience, like everyone is so valid in their own experience. Yeah. And we all come from somewhere different. We all like something different, even behind closed doors. Yeah. even if we're both lesbians, we might like something different.
Yeah.
Like in bed, like,
Yeah.
you know, and like, I think it's so important to recognize that and just talk about it with the whole community. Straight feels limiting.
Yeah.
Because it feels like this is my identity forever.
Right.
And if I could only be that, that means I could have never explored women.
Right.
So now if I'm a lesbian and I'm only committed to lesbian, that actually put a stunt in my growth.
Right.
To explore.
Yeah.
Outside.
Because at that point, if you meet someone who doesn't fit that label necessarily, then you go through this whole coming out journey again. Like, what does that mean for me? And it's like, you shouldn't have to be, again, the labels are great to be able to start, you know, like an introduction to people, find relatability. But it shouldn't be this, okay, I'm putting myself in this box and I'm never going to step outside of it again. Because I think the whole point is like, we should be fluid and we should be able to express that and celebrate that too.
And it's so beautiful to just be open to more exploration.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm very tapped in with my sexuality. Okay, we don't got to talk about that. But what I will talk about is coming out at such a young age and claiming lesbian. Like, oh, I'm a lesbian. Like, I know this because I had a crush on a girl. And like now I can never see myself marrying a man. Like, it just made sense to me. I was like, I'm a lesbian.
Yeah.
Still can never see myself marrying a man. However, like what you said with pansexual feels right because I could really fall in love with people. Like it's about energy. It's about personality. It's about people's shared values and relation. Like I could fall in love with anybody as long as, you know, you have good energy. It's love and all of those things. Right. As I grew up and wanted to explore more, you know, not TMI, but it's like, I can't keep saying I don't like something if I've never had it.
No, absolutely.
So then I almost like wanted to explore outside of the term lesbian and be like, well, what do I actually like?
Yeah.
Because at that time, I was a gold star.
Okay.
I'm not a gold star anymore.
Okay, yeah.
So I did step out of the box lesbian and I explored and I tried to like see what made sense to me. And this is the first time I'm ever saying this publicly. Okay. Like just being real with you. But and I was so afraid to like own that and speak my truth simply because I was so connected to the word lesbian. My followers are not going to believe me. They're going to think I'm a fake lesbian. But all
Isn't
it was,
that insane how it's like it's your own.
It was all. It's
mind.
my journey.
And again, it's like making you challenge your own coming out journey, right? And same. I'm also not a gold star lesbian. I lost that, unfortunately. Something I suppress every single day. But I feel like you know, it's okay. I'm like, please let these memories leave me. But I feel like again, if I wouldn't. And I'm not like telling people to do this.
Right.
But like if I wouldn't have known that, then I wouldn't have known what I don't want for myself either. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And that's what it is because it's like, it's an experience.
Yeah.
It's to learn. It's to explore. Right. So it's like, how do you know if you don't want something if you've never had it?
Exactly.
So I challenged myself with that. Yeah. And that's why I kind of dove into like all of my sexuality. And I did have to have like a new coming out with myself, but I didn't need to go announce it. Absolutely. It's more of just knowing like, I'm queer, I'm fluid, and I don't need a label.
And are there certain societal standards or like a gender norm that you feel pressured to fit into? Or is that something that you're like also kind of able to be fluid with, especially as in a relationship? Because I feel like sometimes with our community and outside of the community, you know, the man is supposed to be the breadwinner. The man is supposed to be the protector. The man, and I'm sorry, like I guess in my like I guess I would be the more masc presenting. But I'm sorry, if there's a bug, I don't want to go get it. If someone's knocking on the door, I don't want to check to see who it is. Right. You know what I mean? Like I'm just a girl.
You're like I'm a girl.
I'm also a girl. You know what I mean? So I'm curious if you feel that society ever makes you feel pressured to align yourself with gender roles as well.
Yeah, I definitely think it has, in the past. And as I get to know myself more and learn about like having an opinion and like knowing my truth is like, there are things I genuinely like to do that fit under that, you know, like I hope to be the breadwinner and just be able to be like, stay at home with the kids, babe. Yeah. Like, I got it. You know, I think there's like, I'm also in acts of service. Like, that's my giving. Okay. So, like, if I could do anything to make your life better, I'm going to do it. And a lot of the times that can look like being the man in the relationship. I take out the trash. Right. I'm down to do this. I'm planning the dates or I'm holding the door. That's just because I'm a gentlewoman and I have respect and, like, I know how good it feels to, like, receive it. So it's like, I want to make my girl feel good. Like, and that's one thing about women as well is, like, for me, it's manners. It's something I always say is chivalry is not dead.
I love that.
Chivalry is something I just like love so much, and it is a lot to do with just respect. And I respect women so much. I am a woman. Yeah. You know, so I can respect them even more because I get it. Yeah. And like that just makes me want to like I don't take care of them, provide for them even more.
And I agree with you fully in the sense of whenever it comes to being queer and being a woman in a woman relationship, right? I feel like there is this sense of protection, love, care, like pouring your heart into this other person, but it's not necessarily lining with a gender role, but it's just because you really just want that person to feel loved, which I think is really beautiful about women loving women relationships. Yeah. Right? I feel like there's just so much, because we understand misogyny, patriarchy. Yeah, exactly, to have a period, like the things that we have to go through. So I feel like as a woman, these are things that you're already mindful of, which is really, that's beautiful. And how about whenever you moved to LA and then now you're in Miami, what has the queer scene been like for you? Is it hard to find queer people? Or are you more attracted to one city over the other? Or how's that?
To go have a good time, but I'm also not a drinker.
Sure, okay.
So that actually adds to my experience a lot, because a lot of the queer community in LA is out at the clubs, partying, at queer events, all that stuff. I just like to dance. So like if I'm going somewhere, it's because I want to dance and have a good time. So when I do get out of my house and go to explore and stuff, you know, it's like to be in that environment sometimes because it's like it doesn't feel genuine to me. Because if I want to hang out with you, I'm not going to ask you to go to the club with me. I want to like sit and have quality time. Like that's something you talked about too. And like I love quality time and I love doing things that like better ourselves, whether we're like, let's go work out together, like let's go do yoga, like let's go for a hike. Like that's my type of stuff. You have to initiate that because the club is always there. People are always going to be out at the bars. So that's easy to just go to. And like the other thing is more intentional. Like if I want more intentional and wholesome friendships with people, I need to create that. Right. And that was like what you and I were talking about. So New York, it was really easy for me to get in the queer scene because I was having my own events. I was throwing events in New York City for queer people. Yeah. So I was around them all the time. They were coming to me. They were coming to me and it was amazing. And like I remember like the first hour of every event. You can ask DJ Whitney, shout out, DJ Whitney, DJ Paris, both of them at all my events. I would have hella anxiety the first hour because I'd be like, nobody's coming. They hate me.
No, that's like terrifying. That's why I've never thrown an event.
People don't come the first hour, Lexie, and I had to learn that, you know? And then like, they're like, leave. Like, you need to leave and come back an hour later. Because I would like freak out the whole time and I would really think nobody's coming. Then every time, like there were so many amazing people, my friends, new people who would come and like, we ended up having the best time ever, whether we were dancing. Yeah. You know, we have a few conversations here and there, but like, it felt like pride every day. And you know, pride is just everyone's happy to be there.
No, I'm an Aries on the outside, on the inside I'm a Pisces. So
that makes sense.
I cry.
Is that your moon?
Rising. So I'm like
I'm
very
a Libra
emotionally.
rising.
Okay. So I get the balance. I get it. You know, I have a question that I just thought about from the conversation we were having before. Being mask presenting, obviously in the LGBTQ plus community, it's more accepted. It's people are used to this label, right? How have you ever experienced like a bullying or like a misogyny when it comes to other male straight cis men?
Back to the word queer, like something about bringing people together, something about my events is they were not exclusive. Okay. They were open to the girls, the gays, the theys. Like that's kind of what I invited. Yeah. But it was also like, if you know someone who got good energy, bring them.
I love that.
Because like we talk about the LGBTQ plus alphabet and all these new words and letters and like new identities which are getting added, which are amazing for the reasons I told you. I think it's a pro and a con. It can also be crippling because in a way, I feel like everyone, I feel like it's like, if you look at the world, like high school, it's like cliques. So you got the gays, you got the men over here, you got the jocks over here. And like, I really feel like it's split up in that way. And I think it's so beautiful that we have our people to relate with. But something that's even more beautiful is being around people who are all different. Yeah. And I've never had a group of friends. So like a group of friends, and I mean that like not lightly, like I've never like had a group of friends where it was like all of us maybe were in the same class or all of us like were the same type of people and we were all friends. Okay. That's not been a thing for me. I've always... diversity. In school, I was friends with the cheerleaders. I was also I was in band. I was friends with the band kids. I was friends with the like. I was the same. I was friends with all different people, and I noticed that now reflects in my everyday life. And like all my friends, I have different types of friends all over. Oh, I'm friends with this guy who's an artist. I'm friends with this girl who's a queer traveler. I'm friends with, you know, and that has turned me into the person I am today. Yeah, because being around all that different energy. So when you ask about straight cis men. I've definitely had both. I've had great experiences with them and I've had not so great experiences with them. You know, there's the typical commentary that we as masculine presenting women probably go through, like walking into a woman's bathroom and like being told you're in the wrong place or, you know, things like that. That has definitely happened to me. I've definitely been called names. Like in high school, I dealt with all sorts of bullying.
Sure.
But the bullying wasn't all just around me being like masculine presenting and how I dressed. But it's cool because like a lot of the times, like when I'm out, if I'm like out at the bars or like I'm just out meeting people, like a lot of guys, like if they talk to me, usually after they talk to me, I'll get, because like they'll be like, oh, like you're cool, you're a good vibe, you're not trying to steal my girl.
Right.
Once they know that and they have their own validation, they're like, you fly, bro.
Yeah.
I like your outfit. Like, that's fly.
So
you got this girl with you. Like, that's crazy. I give you mad props.
That's funny.
And then there's the few who are like, can we get a threesome?
Yeah.
Why are you trying to dress like me? Like, you know, like, do you wish you had a, like.
But you know what's interesting in both of those scenarios? It almost seems like their approach is more intimidation at first, which is fascinating. Yeah. And immediately, are you going to take our girl? Like, or, oh, are you like, you know, something sexual, right?
They won't say it, but they'll think
no, yeah. And I'm like, in a way, flattery, right? And
flattering.
Yeah, they're intimidating.
But it is.
Way,
a lot of men, especially nowadays, bro, like I was walking around the other day. Where was I? I was at an event yesterday, and there was so many masculine presenting women.
Okay.
I was like, we're taking over. The mask shortage has ended. Yeah. And like, I was like so happy because like I'm looking around and like growing up with no representation, I'm just like, we are all over the place.
Yeah.
And I really do think men are starting to get scared.
Yeah.
Because a lot of women I know who have dated men their whole life, all of them, like I can name 6 who are in happy relationships, healthy, it's looking like wedding,
right,
with a masculine presenting woman.
Interesting, yeah.
Definitely, you know, I'm not gonna shit on men because I know so many.
Yeah, there's amazing. Honestly,
there's so many men.
There's so many.
So I also hate the stereotypes like about men, because we can't shit on them all the time.
No, yeah.
Honestly, what I'm learning with being with gender roles in my relationship a lot of the time is like men just need a little extra love.
Yeah, well,
and I think that's what it is because, like, I'm not a man.
Right.
But I know and I've noticed in my relationship, like, if I'm struggling with something or I need to get better at something and my girlfriend shows support and trust in me, I'm going to go do it tomorrow.
Yeah. Well,
but if I have a girlfriend who's nitpicking and being like, why don't you ever do this? Oh, you're a man, da-da-da-da.
Right.
That man, he's depressed. He goes right back into his own, like, shit he was already worried about. So I do think it is so important to talk about
and agreed. And I also think that a lot of times men have been taught not to be in touch with their feelings, not to be in touch with their emotions. If you show that, you're weak. And that's not the case. And in a lot of times, in the opposite of that, lesbians are actually able to still have that softness to them in certain ways, to show love. And I feel like maybe that's also where the intimidation comes from a little bit. But also, I feel like having the conversations, creating spaces for dialogue, creating spaces to have these questions and create safe spaces for not just queer people, but for people who are not queer to come into our spaces and have conversations. I feel like that is honestly how you change the world. Christine and I talk about this all the time. You can go to gay events, queer panels, and you could talk about queer rights all day long until you're blue in the face. And we get it. We understand. But until you go and sit in straight heterosexual spaces and you have these conversations, you're never going to change the game, right? Yeah. So, I mean, I 100% agree with you.
Yeah, and I just want to like piggyback off of that because like my biggest like revelation recently, because I love bringing people together, you know, and like I started planning like group trips and traveling things, and I made it centered around gay people and like the queer community. And then I regretted it. And I realized, I was like, something I'm so good at is like, I have bonfires every year at my mom's house for my birthday. I did until I moved away. Always s'mores.
Always
need
love.
it. And I was talking to my girlfriend about it, and I was like, I always have so many random people there. There's some guys there. There's some of my gay friends there. There's some people from school there. And all these people come into the room, but something that there's a common denominator of is just like good energy. And everyone's there to just like celebrate and like get to know each other and have a good time. And like that I love so much. And they all like, everyone ends up like reconnecting with someone and stuff. So it made me think about my group trips, and I was like, I want to bring people of all different walks of life together, because I have someone who thinks some way about a gay person or maybe even transgender rights. They don't, you've never been introduced to, you know? And like that goes back to what we talked about with my mom. Like she's asked questions before. She asked me if I was transgender because she just didn't know. She's like, what does this mean? Like, you dressing like a boy? Like, do you want to be a boy? Like, those are conversations that came up. And like, you really don't know until you have conversations with people. And then you realize, same thing you're trying to do here is like, we're all human. Yeah. And we all have the same feelings. Yeah. And should be allowed to love who we love and do what we want. We all go
through these waves of rejection, fear, then also on the alternative of that, love, wanting to be loved, wanting to give love, but not knowing how to do it. And until we actually sit and have these conversations, we're not going to actually realize how much we all have in common until we do that, right? And something I kind of want to segue into actually is mental health. And I think that you're a huge advocate for mental health. I would love to learn about why mental health is so important to you and some of the ways that you practice self-love.
Self-love is so important. I don't even know where it started. I feel like self-love, something so beautiful and fun, comes from something so dark and hard.
Yeah.
Growing up, I was born into a really big family. I went to a really big school. There was a lot of people there. And something that always came up for me is I never felt like I fit in. And maybe that is because I'm the gay sibling. Maybe it's because I'm a girl who's dressing like a boy. Maybe it's, because I want to be a dancer and I really don't want to go to school. I had all these reasons to believe like I didn't fit in and I didn't belong here. And that led to a lot of dark thoughts, that led to anxiety and depression, things that I've dealt with. And it wasn't until a really scary experience and, something really bad happens that makes you like, okay, I need to like try something new, And you really have to look away from that thought process and just learning now. Like I'm in therapy now and like looking back at a lot of belief systems and patterns I have, I'm like now learning how to rewire them.
Interesting, yeah.
Simply from like, oh, I feel not good enough. I feel da-da-da-da. Okay, now I have to notice this is an old belief. What is the truth? The truth is I'm a good person. I deserve to be here. And like just that is like slowly rewiring your brain. And I'm learning all about that. But honestly, spirituality is really what got me into self-love and different practices, really connecting with myself, enlightenment, mind over matter. This is an unalome. It's the symbol for enlightenment. I fell in love with myself and I learned that like I never want to forget about myself. Yeah. And especially in relationships, I'm someone who has forgot about myself. I'm such a lover. I'm sure you could probably relate.
I'm literally the same.
And I've dealt with codependency. Yeah. I'm an anxious attachment.
Right.
I'm currently a secure attachment. We are healing.
Look at you.
Okay,
we are changing attachment.
We're changed woman.
Oh, wow. Like growing up, I actually had a very, it was a traumatic childhood for different reasons, other crazy things. But I remember, in high school, I grew up in a predominantly very white, cis
Me too.
community. And then I started hearing a lot of different terminologies, a lot of different, the way that they would talk about different communities was really wrong to me. And I was like, I don't understand why people are talking about different people like this. We're all human at the same time, right? And so with my childhood and the way I was brought up and a lot of family problems and all of that, I remember at such a young age that I was like, I don't like the way that you're making other people feel. I don't like the way that you're excluding people. I don't like that you're talking poorly about people behind them. I don't like that, and I don't like feeling isolated in my own family. I don't like this feeling of not fitting in and feeling very lost and isolated, abandonment, all of these things. So I was like, I don't want anyone to feel like that. I never want anyone to go through these fears of abandonment or having people talk poorly about them behind their back. So I was like, I think that that's kind of created my why of why I want so much of my work. Like I want to help people be able to feel included. And also I think that is also, when I started this podcast, you were one of the first people I had in mind to have on here because you are so good at making people feel included. Anytime you invited us to events, I've never felt more loved, seen, valued. I feel like you are around so many different people and you make time for every single person. And I just appreciate you for that. Truly, I really mean that. No, honestly. So like, I just want to say from what you just shared, you are the person now that you wish that you needed as a child. So I feel like I just wanted to highlight that for you.
Wow, I appreciate that a lot. And I love that you shared that about your experience, because you don't want people to feel
like soloed out. I don't want people to feel abandoned. And I feel like,
and that's kind of what I was dealing with like my whole life. I didn't feel like I fit in.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone to feel like they don't fit in or they don't belong.
Right.
So going into my self-love journey, that's my why. It's like, I want everyone to know that they belong. And it's just like, you belong here. Right. And you're not alone. Yeah. That's the biggest thing. Through community, I learned that like, we're not alone. Yeah. We're so similar.
What does community mean to you? I know that's a loaded term, but I know that your sense of community is just so beautiful in that sense that you bring so many diverse people together. What does it mean to you, and why is it so important?
So when I had my event company in New York, the bio was "Your home away from home."
Oh, I love that. That's your event. That was your event bio. That's beautiful.
And like maybe that's what I just need to call it because it was like Lexie Peters events, and that never sat with me because I'm like I need like a name that doesn't include my name. Yeah. But like your home away from home is like what I wanted people to feel whenever they came. I wanted them to feel like all the energy around them was genuine and authentic, and people, you were free to be yourself. Like whether you were a straight guy just having fun with all your friends, or like you were a gay person, or like doesn't matter what you are, but like you're home here.
Yeah.
Like it's a safe space for you to be yourself. People
Right.
used to come to my events dressing crazy, like so unique, expressing themselves, and like that made me so happy because it's just like I'm creating this space for people to come and like feel like they're at home. Feel like it's like, you know, you could finally like come home and you take your bra off.
Yeah.
It's like one of those feelings.
Yeah.
That's really what community feels like to me. And like someone who comes from a place of not feeling like I fit in.
Right.
Community is like so important because it reminds you that you do.
Yeah.
And like
beautiful.
anytime I've like been in a group of friends, just a small conversation about like, oh, I was stressed about my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I was too, because I felt like, oh my God, I'm not alone. I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
You know, having that
No,
feeling,
absolutely.
being able to relate to people is just like so beautiful. And then at the same time, learning about other communities. Like, it's so beautiful. I think it's a place to grow. It's a place to heal.
There's some friendships that you meet and it feels more like a tour. You have to try really hard to keep the conversation going, right? But there's
It
those
shouldn't feel
friends
like
that
that.
you can like sit and you can chat, you can yap, you can hang out, you can play video games, you can play board games, and then you can sit in silence. And the people
You be
that
on
are
your
going to
phones decompressing.
yeah, and I think those are the friendships where it's like you really feel like family because they're the people that you can sit in silence with. You're the people that you can truly show every single side of yourself with. I think that's something also that I'm trying to work on too is being more vulnerable in telling people about who I am, where I come from, like the things that I went through, and that way it kind of explains, you know, like why
And
your
who you
friendship
are.
means so much to me, right? And like also just being able to show that appreciation for your friends too, because I think sometimes, and this is something I'm bad at, if I'm not with you in front of your face, it's really hard for me to remember to like have a conversation going. Like I'm terrible with
That's
text messages,
normal.
but I think when I have that one-on-one like this quality time, I'm a quality time love language. I love it. I mean, this is like, I need this connection. And we talked
Yeah.
about that, right? Like having these moments where we can just sit and talk and get to know each other more and bond on a deeper level.
Yeah.
That helps my mental health. I feel like
Definitely.
it makes me like really reground myself.
It makes you remember who you are too.
Yeah. So a lot of your spaces, whether dance, friendships, or collaborations, are super diverse. How do you approach showing up in these spaces that's both genuine and respectful while holding space of people of different backgrounds? So like for me being from Memphis, a lot of my community, I was the only white person. And so I wanted to make sure that I was always saving space for other people to have the conversation, like not taking over the conversation.
I love to talk, but I also like love to learn. And like I'm learning now as I'm approaching my 27 years of life that listening is honestly a lot better than talking sometimes. And it's really cool. And I'm like learning that. Yeah, I think like in really diverse settings, asking questions and like also even like something I'm really big on is setting an intention.
Okay.
So like if I have a bunch of people together for a dance video, let's say, or maybe for an event, or maybe we're traveling, I'm gonna always start and let them know what the intention is. Like I'll let them know you're all really different, and I hope you get to know each other. You know, like, and I'll set that
That's
intention
beautiful.
at the front, and like I'll always remind people, like especially if you're around me, it is a safe space. You could talk about anything. Like even
You're like,
the,
it's open. I'm
even
down.
the TMI, like, and I'll talk about it too to make you feel comfortable to talk about it.
Sure.
So a lot of the times that, and like I said, asking questions, I think setting the intention of like, don't be afraid to like get to know someone, like say hi to your neighbor, like reminding people how important it is to be nice to strangers, like things like that. And I think asking questions, like to give other people the spotlight, because being an Aries, you know, you know how it is.
Yeah.
But like even like, let's just say at a party, like if we're at a party and there's all different people there, like if I start a circle or like we start dancing, I'm going to point.
No, I'm literally
point.
the same.
And I'm like, get in the circle, like it's your turn.
Yes,
and like,
yes.
And I feel like I do that on the dance floor, but I also
Yeah.
try to do that in all other
conversation,
ways,
right.
like in conversation. Like
Yeah.
if I notice someone hasn't talked for a while,
I'm hyper
I'll be
aware
like,
of that. I'm hyper
so what do
aware.
you think about this?
Yes. If I see that, it's interesting when I'm in a group setting, and I don't know if you're the same. I'm very curious. If I'm in a group setting, and let's say there's 5 of us, and these 4 people have put in most of the effort in the talking, but this person's like kind of hasn't found a chance to talk. I'll be like, so what do you think about the conversation? Like, how do I bring you in so you feel confident? And then once they do, they actually start opening up, and then they start showing themselves
it.
more, and they're like, oh wow. And then I feel like, you know, that to me is like, I love that. I love people to feel seen. Like, there's nothing worse
And like,
than being in a
and like
group
that you
setting.
care.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
it's
if you
hard
if you were to
sometimes.
just keep letting the other 4 keep talking, the other person would be like, damn.
But I cannot continue the
know?
conversation without all of us being involved. Like I can't.
I love that.
I can't do
I think
that.
that's really important because at the end of the day, like everyone just wants to be heard.
Right.
And I could say this from a place of me knowing because I am the worst. I'm gonna say it here so my girlfriend hears me. I cut people off, like while talking.
Okay.
I don't mean to. It's because I get excited. I'm passionate. I have an idea. I don't want to forget what I have to say.
Yeah.
But I also grew up with 6 siblings.
Yeah.
5. But so what I talk about with my therapist is like growing up, to be heard, you had to interrupt. Because if you live in a house with 8 people, someone's talking at all times of day. There's at least one person, something's going on. So like in order to be heard, or like even like we used to have family dinners. So like everyone's around the table. My mom, okay, how was everyone's day? You're still on my day yet? Yeah. So it's just like, well, let me tell you what happened in my art class, Mom. Like, you know, and I think that's how I grew up. And it is like, you know, to be heard is like, you have to, that's how I grew up. It's like, that's what I know. That's what my condition is. So it's just like, to be heard, I think I have to cut people off. And so I know that.
We're working on it.
I am aware and I'm holding myself accountable.
That's so funny. Well,
but so that's something I practice a lot is like, so when I'm observant of those things, I'm just like, or if I'm talking a lot, you know, I try to take a minute and I'm like, ooh, maybe it's someone else's turn. You know, even dancing, like I'll dance and I'll just get the hang of it. And like while I'm on the dance floor, if someone starts hyping me up, then I'm like, okay, someone else's turn to dance. Because I want everyone to feel seen. I want everyone to feel heard. I want everyone to feel welcome.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that. I know you mentioned your partner. I want to talk a little bit about love. How did you meet and how's everything going?
Okay, yeah, it's a really, really beautiful story. We were actually just talking the other day. We were like, I'm so happy I was there. We were just in the right place at the right time.
I love that.
And I think something I'm really happy about is that we met in person. We met through a close friend. Our mutual friend had a baby shower. So my girlfriend was there with her son.
Okay.
So she was there at the baby shower, and she was there like a night early because like all of like my friend's closest friends, we all like stayed in the house with her to like help her decorate and all that stuff. So I pull up, I open the door. The first thing I say, my girlfriend will literally tell anybody this. The first thing I say is, no need to fear, the party's here.
Wow.
And I walk in and I see this baby on the floor. It's the first thing I see. I walk up to the baby. I'm like, whose baby is this? It was her baby.
Stop.
It was my girlfriend's kid. That's the first thing I said. And she tells me now, like when I walked in and said that, she was like, who is that?
Who is that?
And it was like one of those moments. And so we all met and we spent this whole weekend together at our best friend's baby shower. And I was outside. My friend's like, Lexie, I really want these decorations. I'm like, I'm a woman of the house. Where's your dad? Where's the ladder? So I'm like, let me go hang up these lanterns. And I was acts of service. I wanted to help her set up her party. So I was just being me.
Yeah.
And I was having fun. She had a lot of friends there, you know? Okay. So like I was getting to know everybody. It's all new people, all new faces. You have no idea who these life are.
Love it.
I see this girl, you have a baby. I'm not thinking anything of it. You probably got a home man. Like, I don't know your life. Like, I'm not even going to play with that. So I'm not going to get any ideas. I had no ideas. And this is also 2 weeks after I, like, was in a place with myself mentally where I was like, I'm just going to focus on me. I'm not going to worry or look.
It's always 2 weeks after.
It was exactly 2 weeks after I said, like, I'm not looking for anything or anyone.
You surrendered it. You're like,
I surrendered. I was like, if I'm supposed to meet my person, I will.
And you're like, who is that? And that baby.
And hold on.
I'm like,
and like the whole week I was just being friendly. And then it wasn't until like the weekend was over and it was time to go. And she's like, hey, like you should come see me in Miami. And I'm like, hold on. Now I get home to LA and we're texting a little bit. And I'm like, are you flirting with me?
Yeah, like, you're like blank period.
Just be honest.
Just tell me.
Because I'm such a girl's girl. And when also I'm like trying to be safe because feminine women can also be straight passing.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm not trying to do anything that is not safe. Like I just told myself I'm gay girls only, you know, trying to like protect myself and all these things. But it ended up like, you know, I was like, are you flirting with me? Like I didn't think anything of it because like you have a kid. Like I'm not thinking like that this would be a thing.
Right.
And she was just like, yeah, like hello.
Right. Like how many other ways can I say it to you?
And since then, like honestly that week when we like after the baby shower, we find out that we actually met previously.
Okay.
At Carnival in Miami. It's a Caribbean event. So it was like we were at one of the fetes in Miami, and we actually met with Sienna. That was our mutual friend. So we met with her at this party, but it was a quick thing, and we both had a video of each other.
Wow.
But it was like you see someone, and like in October we were not like we couldn't have dated because of what was going on in our life. So it was. I always say it was the universe. Like we met, and it was like okay, like I'm gonna see you again, and then the baby shower happened, and we've been together, inseparable ever since.
And so you recently moved to Miami. Y'all are living together now. What is that a new experience like living in Miami?
Yeah, so
co-living together.
Yeah, so it was 6 months.
That's
6 months
okay.
at U-Haul,
6
or
months
is that like the line?
I feel like that might be the line, actually. I think anything below that. Was it
Not
6
a
months and a
U-Haul.
day? Or
Maybe. I don't know. It actually was. We moved it on February 1st.
Okay, so you're not a U-Hauling. Oh, look at you. I'm proud of you. Look at that.
We really took time because
I'm dead.
the coolest thing about being in LA and her being in Miami is it started off like a long distance relationship.
Yeah.
You know, we spent a few months long distance, so that gave us a really good chance to like build that foundation,
Right.
really get to know each other, understand her situation.
Mm-hmm.
You have a child. But living with her is amazing.
That's
It
so
is
good.
everything I could have ever wished for. I like have a lot of moments where like little Lexie, like,
Yeah.
you know, little baby gay,
Yeah.
like I'm like, I'll take moments like we have a balcony and like, or I'll just be in the kitchen, or like sometimes she'll be cooking for me and I'm like sitting on the couch, like I'm just like looking around, like it's like my little gay heart is exploding.
Yeah.
Like this is real.
yeah.
Like I have a girlfriend and like her dad will come over to help with things and like
Cute.
everyone's so cool.
And now you have this whole life with someone that
whole
you
life. It,
love.
like, doesn't
and,
feel real.
Literally are building this family aspect,
We both say it all
right?
the time, like it doesn't feel real. And I'm
That's
gonna be honest,
amazing.
I've never lived with a significant other.
Okay.
So
yeah.
that's an adjustment.
Right.
And there's a toddler.
Okay.
So I'm
yes.
also like part-time parent. You
Right.
know, like I'm there with
That's
her
a
and
lot of
helping as much as I
transitions,
can.
Right.
I love absolutely every minute of it. I'm learning so much from her and her son. You know, I learn every day from both of them and it's so cool. And I'm happy that like I'm in a place where I'm just open to learn because
Yeah.
I know that I'm at such a pivotal point in my journey where it's just like I moved across country again.
Yeah.
What happened the first time I moved cross country? I became a whole new person. I had a
Yeah.
whole new life. So I definitely feel like that's happening a little bit and it's scary, but like that's what I wanted, you
Yeah.
know? And I'm excited because it's a chance to grow. I'm excited to keep learning. And
Yeah, it's a chapter to continue to, push yourself in
Yeah.
your boundaries, and who knows what doors will open up whenever you
Yeah.
take. I truly think the more chances you take, life is like, okay, it's time to open up new doors.
Mm-hmm.
I think my biggest quote in life: if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got. So if you continue
Yeah.
doing the
You
same
gotta
things
switch it
over and
up.
over again, you're always going to get the same results. And I feel like it's the same thing moving new places. You don't have to always necessarily move across country, but little steps like moving in together,
steps,
whatever
yeah.
that looks like, you're going to create new opportunities for yourself. So I think that's really beautiful.
And like it's such a partnership.
That's beautiful though.
And like the only thing I've ever like wanted in a partner is like a life partner. Like let's grow and build together. Like
Yes.
it's not going to be pretty all the time,
Yeah.
you know? And she's teaching me that a lot
Right.
because I think like if there's a little bit of turmoil, like, oh my God, it's over. Like,
Right.
I failed us, you know?
Yeah.
And she's like reminding me like, nah, like we're allowed to grow. Like that's the point, you know? And I really see her as like, she's my best friend, man. And it's definitely like a mirror situation where like
Right.
everything she sees in me, she like needs to learn or vice versa.
And how is that something that y'all are always working on, trying to
Yeah.
find the balance of separating the love that y'all are building together, but also the
Definitely.
love that you're giving to yourself?
Definitely. And I think before we moved in together, it was a lot easier because we were in
Okay.
long distance. So there
course.
was a lot of time for that solo stuff. Like,
Right.
I'm not even near you, so we can't hang out. So I have to do all these other things by myself or for myself.
Right.
And like I said, we've only lived together for 1 month. So
Yeah.
just 1 month living together, I definitely fell into some codependency. And I'm like, what is your schedule? What do you need to do? How can I be a part of it?
Right.
You know, like it turned into that. And like, it wasn't until like the month was coming to an end where we were both like, let's get back to us.
Yeah.
You know, like this is great. I'm happy we're building all of this
Right.
and we're going to keep building it. But like, what do you need?
Yeah.
And what do I need?
I think sometimes it's a good reminder that there's not a rush. There's not a rush to spend all
That's all she
day,
teaches
every
me.
day together,
Every
right?
day
And
she's like, Lex, we could take our
Yeah.
time. We don't. I struggle a lot with like the feeling of being abandoned and feeling like people are going to leave. I've had a lot of people leave me and, you know, break up, cheating situations. And like, she knows that. And like, it's so cool that the way she can reassure me is like, no matter what's going on, even if we are like a little annoyed at each other or something's going on, she's just
Yeah.
like, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it later. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you're not going anywhere. Great.
Yeah.
I'll be home later.
building onto a long-term relationship, you also start to get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm not even just dating this person to date this person because I like them, I'm attracted to them. You're dating all the people that they've dated in the past. You're dating all the trauma that they've gone through, right? Like you really are dating them for everything that they've been through in the past. And it's like, how do you love every piece of them? And that's something, again, it takes time. And it's also giving them the space to find healing in that too. You're having these conversations. You're communicating about abandonment. You're communicating about self-isolation and like, how do I take care of myself better? I think that's it's a partnership. It's like, how do we...
partnership.
It's beautiful though.
It's a partnership for sure.
But I do want to talk about your travel experiences. Tell me a little bit about travel, how it got started, and your YouTube channel.
So traveling has always been a thing for me. I actually grew up traveling a lot. I was, I guess this is like kind of like a secret that, not a secret, but not a lot of people, a hidden talent, if I will. I am a baton twirler.
Okay.
I was a baton twirler for 16 years of my life.
What?
State, regional, and national champion.
You're lying. We need pictures. We need video. We need proof.
No, the leotard.
Yeah.
No, I was. It's true. And so for nationals, we traveled every single summer. So every year I was on at least like 2 planes, and like we traveled a lot of the states. And I think growing up, I was so sad that like I didn't remember a lot because I was younger, or like I wasn't as intentional, like with, oh, I'm in this new place, let me go explore. And like we always explored, but you know, I just wanted to keep exploring more. Before I moved to LA, my mom's like, where do you want to live? Like, where do you see yourself? And I was like, I don't know, I haven't been everywhere yet.
Oh, I love that.
That was always my answer. She's like, well, where do you want to live? I'm like, I don't know yet. I can't decide until I've been everywhere. Wow, and like that was something we always joked about.
Yeah.
So now, you know, I continue, and I'm like, I still don't know where I'm going to end up because I haven't traveled it. I might end up in a different country. Who knows?
No, honestly,
but,
I feel like same. I've lived in New York. I've lived in Sydney. I've lived in Los Angeles, Denver, all over the place. I don't know why I keep picking the most expensive cities in the world to move to. Why am I doing this?
I live in LA and Miami.
Yeah, right.
Come to Miami.
Right. Why did we not decide to move to like Iowa or Kansas or somewhere where we can like live in? Yeah, I don't know.
But
maybe that's the next move.
Maybe.
But
you get a cottage.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just back to the travels. I've always wanted to travel. I want to continue travel. That's why I'm so inspired by you.
You don't come back the same person for any trip. It doesn't matter where it is. I feel like that's what the point of storytelling is, and it kind of goes back to the feeling included, making other people feel like family, making everyone feel like home. I feel like that's what travel does for you. It creates these storytelling opportunities.
It's every trip I've ever been on like has changed my life. It's been life changing. I've learned something I needed to learn. You know, it's just like meeting a new person, going to a new place, or trying something new. That's what I was telling you, is like any of those things will help you grow. You know, it will help you become a better person just because you know more and you're wiser. You know, it's education is, what is it? Knowledge is power. Yeah. Knowledge is power. And, you know, and so with traveling in 2023, I think it was, I did my first trip out of the country, other than Canada. I've been to Canada, but I didn't count it really. Okay. But like really officially out of the country, I went to Namibia, Africa. Oh my God. So I remember that trip. I went to
You're wild. I love Africa. It. And it was amazing.
It was amazing. And I went with a great group of people, and we were just filming for like YouTube and stuff. So I did... And I had a page. I wanted to like start this travel page where I was like, I do my vlogs, or maybe I'm trying something new in all these videos, and they all have to do with travel, because I was like, I want to travel, so this is a cool way to document it. And you know, so that's what Lexperience kind of turned into. I started traveling, and I started doing all these different like excursions and experiences, and I started documenting it. And I was like, I really just want to share, and hopefully like people can be inspired to travel and try something new and get out of the comfort zone and get to know themselves more. Because every time I travel, what you're saying, where it's like we learn something new, but it's like we learn something new about ourselves. Yeah. So it's like traveling makes you feel more connected to yourself, you know? And like when you're traveling, every time you're on the plane, you're thinking about home. So it's like you get that homesickness. It's like such a great, just like overall experience. Yeah. So I created Lexperience, and I started filming in 2023, and I actually didn't start the YouTube until this year, which I'm very mad at, and you can yell at me for later. So all my videos like are from 2023. So I have different hair, you know. I feel like that's not even me anymore. So funny. But while I've been moving and getting into the like just the groove of things, I started backlogging. So I started posting all the vlogs that I started, even though they're from 2 years ago. Yeah. I was like, these are amazing things I want to share. Yeah. So I started sharing them. There's some videos of me wake surfing, cliff jumping. I love it. All different things, all crazy experiences. Like I want to do skydiving, I want to go jet skiing, and just film it all. Like I want to document everything. So some of my trips I documented as well, just as vlogs. So I went to Africa, I went to Mexico. That was fun because I did it with every queer, and I was there with like 18 queer women. I love it. Who I never met before. Yeah. And it was so cool. The greatest experience ever. That's amazing. And so I started traveling, doing stuff like that. Then I got inspired by that. I was like, I want to host a trip. Yeah. So I created Gateway. I love it. And that's my thing. What we were talking about with ideas, I always have so many ideas.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, here's Getaway.
We
It's
have
a new
one
brand.
life to live. We want to do it all.
Oh, we want to do it all.
Not only do we want to do it all, but we want to do it like with love. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's amazing. I love it.
But with the travels, it made sense to keep it under
Right.
Lexperience because
Yep.
it's an experience, and
Right.
Lexperience is Lexie's experience. So it's my experience, and you can watch just to enjoy for entertainment, or you can watch to be inspired, and who knows, you could learn something,
Yeah.
you know. And I think it's a cool way for people to, you know, I'm talking a lot about what I'm learning, so other people, I hope, can like learn and get inspired just
Yeah.
through watching what my experience was. That's
Yeah.
kind of like my intention with it. And yeah, the biggest thing is just to inspire other people to travel and other people to get out of your hometown.
I love it.
Because getting out of my hometown changed my life.
I think getting out of my hometown is what saved my life
Saved
in many
my
ways.
life.
I feel like I would not be the person I am today if I never left home.
Me
And I know that's
either.
not always the easiest option for everybody.
It's not easy
but
at all.
It is life changing in many ways. You learn about yourself, you learn about others. You truly, the world opens up figuratively
Yeah.
and like literally.
And I think just to remind people is that you don't have to leave forever.
Yeah.
You could just go travel.
Yeah.
You don't have to move away from home.
Right.
Like you could still, if you love your home where you were born and stuff, like
Yeah.
you can stay there. But it's so important too because a lot of people still live in their hometown and they complain
Yeah.
or struggle with relationships. And
Yeah.
I'm like, you haven't even ventured out.
Right.
The love of your life might be in Australia.
Yeah.
And that's
No,
what I've always
honestly.
told myself. And that's what inspired me to travel so much too because I love love. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, I know I'm not going to find my girlfriend on Tinder.
Yeah.
So like, I knew that. And I was right, you know, and
Yeah.
I've traveled so much. And now meeting my you know, my girlfriend in person, that was like,
That's
it
beautiful.
made me so happy because it was
Yeah.
just so genuine.
Yeah, I think that's the thing about travel is it really creates doors for empathy and it allows us to have those conversations that you probably wouldn't have a chance to in your small hometown, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
it kind of circling back to what you said before, you know, until you have these conversations with people, you're not going to actually learn from each other we fear what we don't know, right? We
Yeah.
fear what we don't know. So until we have conversations with people who are unlike us, we're not gonna understand them. And
You know, like that opens it up to so many things too of just being understanding. Maybe you will learn about being humble. Maybe you will learn about not complaining
Yeah.
that your Amazon order is late. You
Yeah.
know, and you just gratitude you
Yeah.
learn from traveling
love
and
that.
all of the things. And that's why I'm excited too, because talking about all people of different backgrounds, I am thinking of planning another group trip,
Okay.
which I'm very excited about.
doing the
TT.
plug.
I'm very excited. And like, I think that's going to be like, I don't know how I'm going to market it or explain it to the world or invite people, but I really like, I want it to be a space where like everyone's welcome and like just know that like you're coming to a place where we're all different, but like you're coming to learn and
Yeah.
you might be friends with someone who you thought you might come as like a queer woman who hates men, and then you go there and your best friend is a
bestie.
cis man.
Yeah,
because you
wait,
had a
that's
conversation with
beautiful.
him, and
I
maybe
love
he
that.
opened up about his heartbreak or something, and you're like, oh my god,
Yeah.
you know, like
That's what I'm saying.
and so I'm excited. So I
that's
think the
great.
next trip I plan is just going to be like, I really want to create a space where people of all different walks of life can come and have a experience.
I love
You
it.
feel
Oh
me?
my god.
So-
Well, I feel like, you know, thank you for sharing your story with me. I mean, I feel like I could honestly, I think I only touched half of these because
I don't even think we touched any of
I
this.
feel like I really I love your story. I feel like your story is always ever changing, always ever evolving. I think that's why I'm so
like
inspired
we
by
are.
you, Aries baby. And I just feel like, you know, I'm just so excited to watch what you have coming up next. There's so many different projects that you're working on. I would love to ask you some funsy questions, just to wrap things up.
Fun.
So you're a dancer.
I'm a dancer.
You're a dancer. We didn't even talk about that.
didn't even
You know what I'm
dance.
saying? We're gonna. That's okay.
But it's like
Next
I'm not a
episode.
professional dancer. I just love to dance.
You're a professional to me. You're a professional. Are you kidding me? Have you seen me?
I don't know. You
We gotta work on that.
Okay, we can do a
You're
class.
a dancer. If aliens were to come tomorrow to planet Earth, what would be your interpretive dance to say hello to them? You have to do it right now.
I feel like I would Millie rock, but like with alien hands. Like, I feel like
Hey. And they're like
something like that. Yeah, no. And then they're like, she knows our code. Da, da, da.
imagine that's how they also say hello. They're like,
That's what I'm thinking. I'm just gonna go with my gut at that moment.
Wait,
that
that was
moment.
amazing.
But like I'm also an alien, so I feel like they're just gonna know.
they're gonna know. Honestly, that's
believe
why
that.
that's why you're here anyways. You're supposed to be connecting our cultures, right? Imagine that would
It's
be a
not
plot
people
twist.
I have to bring together.
It's the aliens. What is the most unhinged thing that you've ever done on a trip, on a travel trip?
Travel trip.
Travel trip? Travel trip.
Oh,
What is the
can I
most
say that on
unhinged
here?
thing? What is the most unhinged thing that you've done in a sense of adventure? We'll say it that way.
Oh, that was not an adventure. Unhinged. I mean, I'm an adrenaline junkie, so I always try crazy things. But like, I'm gonna tell you something really unhinged.
Okay.
Like, I dug a hole and used the bathroom and buried it.
Where?
When you live in your car,
LA?
like
Los
that
Angeles?
was I actually know where that was. That
You're
was
like,
Colorado.
actually right here in the parking
lot. Colorado.
If it's
I
gonna
felt
be
like
anywhere,
a dog.
What'd you do? Like kick it back?
No.
No. You shoveled
Oh
it.
yeah. Kick the dirt.
Yeah,
you're
kick the
right, you're right.
dirt,
To
yeah.
bury the hole.
Okay.
But I had a shovel. Like I was prepared.
Oh, you're good.
What's the box you have?
Yeah. What?
The box for the end of the world.
Yes, I've been
What do you
doomsday
call it?
prepping.
Doomsday.
Doomsday
I have like a
prepping.
doomsday prep in my car.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. So you're good. You were Colorado prepared.
That's fine. That's probably the most unhinged thing I've done.
I love that.
And I just admitted
okay.
it.
It's Colorado.
I just admitted it on live TV.
That's the first. We're opening the episode with that. By the way. No, I'm joking.
It's okay.
Well,
You gotta go. So you can find me anywhere at Lexie Peters, LexiePeterss. Even my YouTube, Lexie Peters, that's my dance YouTube, but I do have a Lexperience YouTube channel you can check out as well. And y'all know I'm backlogging, so please go show me some love. Let me know what you think of the videos. But we got more to come, and I'm so excited, and I can't wait to see you. And hopefully I'll see you on a Lexperience one day.
Yay! Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for coming on here.
Thank
I
you.
honestly love you and adore you so much.
I
I feel like we could legit do this for hours.
We could probably have a 4-hour podcast.
Honestly, like dead ass, I'm like, next business plan. We're going to
Maybe we will.
4-hour podcast. You
Yeah,
know.
we could just go, we could do a Lexperience episode, and we'll just talk more.
Oh my God, yes. We'll
I
just
love it.
continue this. This is great. And that's a wrap on this episode of She Comes With Baggage. If you love this conversation, please make sure to follow She Comes With Baggage on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube for more content and behind the scenes moments. And if you're tuning in on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any other audio platform, don't forget to leave a review. I love hearing from you. And just remember, if you are carrying any baggage, you're not alone, and we're all more alike than we might think. See you soon.